Hey, I want to talk about some resources that might be of interest to you. First of all, you can never coast uphill. You can only coast downhill. And sometimes when we as sales professionals get on a roll, sometimes we stop learning, we start slacking, and we don't do things to better ourselves. So I want to kind of share with you some tools today, or some books and resources that might further you on your sales journey. The problem and challenge in sales is there's too many curveballs and there's too many factors outside of our control. For example, I had a referral lead last fall where the company reached out to us. I thought it was a slam dunk deal. Then out of the blue, one of the board members said, hey, I have a resource here in Boston. Let's use them instead. And they went with them, and we didn't get a chance to become a client, which is fine. That happens from time to time. I had an old sales manager of mine. He had a nice little saying that it said, if you're green, you're growing, but if you're ripe, you're rotting. And I've always remembered that to this day. So I want to talk a couple of book resources for your sales reps, for your inside sales reps that might be of interest to you. The first one is by Art Zobchek, called Smart Calling. And he talks a lot about cold calling, prospecting, lead generation. I would highly encourage you to read this book. He has a newsletter. He's out of Nebraska, very smart guy, and he has a lot of helpful, useful information. Another book that I read several years ago is by Mike Weinberg. It's called New Sales Simplified. He talks a lot about sales, but he also talks about sales prospecting. And one of his favorite sayings is that no one defaults to prospecting. When we have a lot of free time on our hands, no one gets all excited about prospecting. But as we've talked about in these videos, you have to keep a full pipeline. Another book that I read several years ago by Josie Ann Fegan. It's called Smart Selling on the Phone and Online. If you are in charge of an inside sales team or run an inside sales team, this is a great resource for you. And then finally, this book came out several years ago, but I think that it's still effective today. It's by Jill Conrad. She's out of Minnesota, and she talks about selling to big companies. One of the things I like about her is that she uses plain language, doesn't try to get all fancy, and she offers great practical advice on how to sell. There's other ones that I've talked about, Zig Ziglar, Andy Paul, and others. If your company won't buy you these books, I would suggest buying them yourselves. You have to invest in yourself. You can never have the attitude that you know everything, because sales has a way of humbling us. In the future videos, I'll have some more content, tips, and tricks on how to make your life better with inside sales, business development, and lead generation. I appreciate you taking time out to visit with us today.